So 9 of the last 11 years, the Army Corps of Engineers discharged toxic water containing dangerous levels of cyanobacteria east and west out of Lake Okeechobee into our communities. And in 2018, these harmful discharges resulted in serious economic damages, public health risks, ecological consequences, and safety risks south of Lake Okeechobee. But this year, it's been very different. From the time that our children left school for the summer until the time that they started back in August, there's been no cyanobacteria discharge from the lake into the St. Lucie estuary.
An algae crisis threatening our treasure coast.
A cycle of despair and disgust amidst promises made and broken.
Billions of gallons of water are rushing from Lake Okeechobee to our coastline.
How much pollution is too much? How much danger is too much? How much before this will stop?
The financial impacts from the water crisis from 2018 were more than any hurricane or economic downturn that we've had to experience here in our over 100-year history. So it was scary.
Yeah, Michael, some residents here in Rio tell me there are certain times of the day they will not even go outside because the stench is just so unbearable. Even tonight it smells so bad out here, and when you take a look, it looks increasingly worse over time.
You go from paradise to a nightmare, Right now it's everything that, when you think of Florida and you get that visual picture in your mind of Florida and a vacation on the beach of Florida, this is what you picture. Whereas, during the water crisis, just the sight of, the sheer volume of death, whether it's, fish or marine mammals, dolphins, turtles, tarpon, snook, grouper.
And look at more of this mess. Our News Channel 5 crew spotting some dead fish in the algae near Alice Street, not far from the Roosevelt Bridge. Fears tonight that more sights like this are to come.
I saw species I'd never seen before dying, coming up on the shore. I've only read about. That tends to turn off a vacationer a little bit.
Liz, a completely different feel. All summer people were scared to even come by the water with algae building up along the water line in canals, by people's homes. But now people are out here enjoying this beautiful day, and people say it was toxic 18 last year, and this year they're hoping for a clean 19.
And as a result, the families in our community were finally able to enjoy summer again, doing the things that they love to do: fishing and boating and swimming, wakeboarding, tubing, jumping off the dock, and just enjoying our waterways. This alone is a big victory, but it's even more exciting when you consider the circumstances of this victory. At the beginning of this year, Lake Okeechobee levels were right around 15.5 feet, and over the course of the next 6 months, the Army Corps of Engineers and the South Florida Water Management District, by their own admission, worked to get Lake Okeechobee just under 11 feet by June 1st, 10.84 to be exact.
And then the great support and the great activity by South Florida Water Management District. They're doing things in the northern Kissimmee and also moving water south of the lake to provide additional water south. And that right now allows us not to release or make any releases to the east and west. So this is going to be kind of the trend. The trend right now is not to do any releases east and west, while the majority of the water will be taken to the south.
This is so important because regardless of if we had record rainfall, it gave us several more feet of buffer on Lake Okeechobee heading into the rainy summer months of the hurricane season, and this proved to be especially critical in the face of Hurricane Dorian, a Category 5 storm that was expected to dump 2 to 3 feet of water onto our area. And for once, our communities did not have to take any discharges from Lake Okeechobee in anticipation of this hurricane. We didn't have to take harmful discharges because Lake O was managed to protect the communities south of the lake by lowering the levels of Lake Okeechobee, protecting the dike, before a storm was directly on our horizon. Now, in the days leading up to the anticipated landfall of Dorian, levels on Lake Okeechobee were just under 14 feet. And this begs the question to those advocating for higher levels on Lake Okeechobee, saying that the lake was managed too low. How many more feet or how many more inches would they have wanted to be kept on Lake Okeechobee moving into that Category 5 storm? Did they want 1 more inch of water on Lake Okeechobee, 6 more inches of water, 2 more feet of water on Lake Okeechobee? How much more risk did they want those communities south of the lake to be at? The fact is that because the lake was lower, the communities south of the lake, Belle Glade, Canal Point, Clewiston, Lake Harbor, Moorhaven, Pahokee, South Bay, they didn't have massive evacuations like they had with Hurricane Irma. And in turn, toxic discharges didn't have to occur before this Category 5 hurricane charged towards our coast, because water managers were confident that the lake was at a safe level for all of those communities and life was not at risk in all of those communities like it had been in years past.
The dike is in a great position. We have very low risk. We are in an excellent position and able to maneuver water, and the South Florida Water Management District is doing excellent.
Now, it's important to note that at no point this summer were we able to guarantee that there would not be any discharges. But the fact that we prevented them is no coincidence. And every day we don't have discharges is a victory. By working with the Army Corps of Engineers and the South Florida Water Management District to lower the levels on Lake Okeechobee, we put crucial space between our coasts and the discharges, one day at a time, one victory at a time. The bottom line is that as a result of this team effort to responsibly manage Lake Okeechobee, our communities enjoyed a summer without discharges, and it didn't cost $1 single of taxpayer money to do it. That's a win for our public health. It's a win for every taxpayer. It's a win for our economy, and it is a massive win for our waterways. This operational change has been a long time coming, but this summer has been proof that real change is possible. After a toxic 2018, we're finally seeing what we've been working so hard to achieve, and that is a clean 2019.